Welcome along. It's Monday Malarkey. I'm quite excited about tonight. This is the second competitive league race that we've got in the series. We did 3 test races before that. It just seems to get better and better, doesn't it? And I think we've got some VR racing royalty on the line tonight. So expect an extra special treat on this one. Very flat circuit, a straight one loop of the island that Indy Velo is set on. It is... there you are, you can see it just goes around the coast. So all you sort of kind of beach lovers, you will be seeing plenty of sand on your right hand side as they race around. Really looking forward to this. We should have the table to see where we are. This is the second race, so some people have got some points already, about 20 riders already one step ahead of the others as we take a little look. And it was Tim Humpton who romped home in the last race. Owen Springer's taken second spot, Dan Simpson from R3R, plenty of R3R riders. They've been really supportive in this, very quick to adopt Indy Velo, as have my West London VR colleagues, although slightly further down the rankings than the R3R guys. Great to see Stevie Cooper at 6 for Glasgow United. Not to forget René Maillet, who I think I didn't mention enough during the commentary last time out. Plenty of R3R riders. Tony Martin Lake in there as well. Gordon Jackson from OTR. Never forget Gordon Jackson from Lancaster. Clive Byam, of course, another OTR one. And the Saddle Drunk team of Alex Gold and Peter Mills really do put on a show. I think there's some other Saddle Drunk riders. Tomasz Poniatowski as well from Poland in there at 16th place. Now, some of these are big names and you'll know them from the world of VR. And I think we've got some even... we've got even more of them, I think, on the start line today. So let's go over and see who's in the race, shall we? I think the pen should be about to close at the moment. 34 in the pen, so this is the biggest we've had so far. We are doing it bot free, so it's very different to some of the bot races that you will have seen in Indy Velo. The bots are really good in Indy Velo, though, so don't knock the bot races. Here we are, 34 on the start line, 8 seconds to go, and isn't that a terrific sight as they are about to launch themselves off. 2 seconds, 1 second, and everybody pedals like mad to get off that start line. I can see one of my own riders is off the front, and it's Top Jimmy from Uxbridge. Nick Greenhouse in there as well. Great to see Nick, another local rider, one of the Ratio Racing team. Right now, though, it looks like Yep Snaver off the front and King Tubby just behind, one of the R3R riders. Always like it when King Tubby and Lee Perry are in the same race. I'm not sure if Lee's here today or not, but if you didn't get that relevance, King Tubby and Lee Perry, both famous reggae producers. A couple of riders off the back, probably about 3 or 4 off the back, but a bit of a bunch, a bit of a couple of splits coming up. You can see the bunch breaking, just about 3 or 4 riders off the back. But look at this off the front. This is Nick Greenhouse, the Ratio Racing rider, and he's carved himself out a second over Stevie Cooper from Glasgow United. All well-known names. Yep Snaver in there, Tony Martin, Alex Gold for Saddle Drunk, Top Jimmy from Uxbridge, Peter Mills from Saddle Drunk, David Hawkins, the Irishman, Dan Stimson, and Alex Plaisir in there. Always great to see Alex in there as well. So, looking at it, looks like who's on the front now? I'm just trying to see. It's changing all the time, isn't it? But there's a nice little group forming here, and I think we're going to have to, I don't know, there's a little split at the back. Maybe those riders look like they're just about to get on. But if we can keep a big group on this flat, then we could be looking at a sprint finish. Now, if we don't keep the group together, I think what will happen here, and I said this in the preview, is that I think there'll be racers who put a bit of attritional pushes on the front to just see if they can drop somebody off the back. And if you can drop riders off the back, the group thins. But right now, it's looking quite a competitive bunch. Nobody quite pulling away. Top Jimmy... James from Uxbridge, as we call it. All sounds like a radio station caller, doesn't it? We've got James from Uxbridge on the line. He's towing the line at the moment, but somebody else has just taken over. Rasmus Feldball, always great to see the Great Dane in here. Well done, Rasmus, for coming along. Good to see you again. Alex Gold, my friend from Saddle Drunk. Evan Oystenson, who's been in these races before. Pete Mills, who's been here since the beginning. The wonderful Gordon Jackson from Lancashire. Top Jimmy, let's drop that, so I'm repeating him. And off the front, we've got Rasmus Feldball. Rasmus is a dynamic rider, and he will do this. He will push off the front. Now, one or two things happen. He either gets a breakaway, but I think it's a bit too early. We're only We're only a little way into this race, 14.8 kilometres to go. So I don't think after 1 kilometre that this brake's going to work. Whether or not it drops somebody off the back, I don't know. That looks a tiny little bunch, so it hasn't strung it out. Somebody's coming across. It's Alex Plaisir, who he absolutely powers past, doesn't he? Didn't Alex play? And Rasmus is swallowed up by the peloton now, and I think it was. Looking at that, it's quite nice. It's quite a big gap though that Alex Plaisir has carved out, isn't it? That is quite a big gap, and I don't. As again, I'll go back and say I think that's a little bit early to do that, but it is flat, and if you are a great time trial rider, maybe it's just for you. Alex, one of the main protagonists in ratio racing. I think I don't communicate with Alex quite so much, but I think he is sort of one of the key people in the group. I speak mostly to Nick Greenhouse, so it's nice to have two ratio racing guys in there. I'm not sure if they formed a team or not, but we switched on the Teams function as a bit of a test today. And I will have to say this at the outset. Apologies to anybody that entered this thinking it was a ranking race. It was, and then unfortunately what happened was the new Teams function switched off the ranking. We are speaking to Indy Velo about this, so I'm afraid there'll be no ranking points tonight, but we'll get that fixed for next time, hopefully. Indy Velo are aware, and we are discussing it. R3R off the front, it's the one for Rob Miller from the USA, and if I was talking about Alex Plaisir being the main protagonist for Ratio Racing, here's the one for R3R. Put so much into this, and great to have him on the team. Always enthusiastic and supportive, lovely guy, and I think it's people like this that keep virtual racing going. Now, this is beginning to string it out. This is what I mentioned before. If you do string it out, you get the gaps. Will it come together again? If that split in the middle and those few people off the back causes this elite group at the front to get away, that will be the tactic I was talking about. By those pushes on the front, you don't necessarily get away, but what you do is you thin out the group and you lessen the chances of somebody else beating you in a bunch sprint. I think that gap now is probably quite big, but I will say the second group is large enough maybe to work together and pull it back. But I think the Snaver off the front, that was quite tactically astute because there was a danger of the other group coming back together again. Alex Plaisir off the front in that Ratio Racing kit. It's a great kit, isn't it? And I think that pressure off the front from Alex and is going to, and Steve Cooper joining in there, I think that will probably thwart that second group catching up. But maybe not. We'll have to see. They do have to kind of coordinate these attacks to make it really pay. And as we saw, the second group nearly got back there. Stevie Cooper there, Glasgow United. Hopefully we'll get some more of the Glasgow United chaps along to these races soon. They are a great team. There's not loads of them, but my God, have they got some quality. And I think the second group's on, as I think that looks like Top Jimmy back in the front group, doesn't it? So the attrition on the front may not have worked. And Tim Humpton in there, we haven't mentioned him yet. He's leading the series at the moment. So look out for him, R3R rider. Not everybody necessarily has their kit on. Somebody didn't quite make it back on. We've got quite a big group now. 11.6 kilometres to go. Somebody's off the back and didn't quite make that juncture. But we've got a healthy peloton racing for this now. It's Gordon Jackson. Sorry to see that. The OTR rider. I don't know. He's not losing ground, is he? It's just, but it must be draining him trying to do that catch-up. Coming down a little bit maybe, but that's going to be a big arse to get back on. I say that, and the gap seems to be coming down even more. If they slow on this bend, really, he's definitely making up ground, isn't he? Well done, Gordon. This is extraordinary. Fantastic riding. This is brilliant. It's one of those things where you watch one of those pro races and the guy out the front and you wonder if the peloton will catch him. This is the reverse of that. Look at Gordon go. Absolutely phenomenal. And somebody's putting some pressure on the front. He just needs to make up those couple of yards. Then you get the proper draft. Somebody off the front is making it hard for him though. Oh, please, Gordon, just get back on. It's so agonising. And he's not quite making that last couple of yards that will give him the full effect of the draft. I don't know if the person off the front is listening to the commentary. It's Rob Miller, and he's doing some real damage to Gordon's attempts to get back on. And if he's listening to the commentary, he probably knows this. And I think Gordon's slipping back a little bit. Oh, that was so valiant. And that is so sad not to see Gordon make that. He might live to fight another day, but Rob Miller's still putting the pressure on the front, and the gap gets bigger as Gordon didn't quite make it. That is one of the high spots of the race, whatever happens in the finish. And I think if there was a prize for something special, I think Gordon would have to be given that for that. That was just cruel at the end, all down to Rob Miller, who's probably listening to the commentary and realises what he's doing. I think he might even let the rest of the group get on. Having said that, he has caused some other damage on that group. It's split into two with one further rider off the back. So Rob Miller's no novice at this. He knows what he's doing. R3R are a very slick team, and we're very privileged to have them as part of this. So the group starts coming back together, and once again it's Alex Plager, the Ratio Racing rider, who makes that juncture. Rob probably easing off, knowing that he's done what he needed to do. Joined up there by Jep Snaver in the R3R kit. The R3R kit is the light blue with the red and white band and then black at the bottom. And the black kits with the white and yellow band, they're the saddle drunk riders, in case you're looking out for any of those. Ratio Racing is black and orange. Now, you can only get your club's kit if you are paying the subscription. So if you're a free rider on here, you have to sort of kind of improvise and make your own kit up as close as you can to your team's kit. But isn't it great to see that people are signing up and you're seeing the proper kits in here, aren't you? Fantastic stuff. And that is, of course, Nick Greenhouse, who's sporting a black and orange helmet to signify Ratio Racing. Now, I don't recognise every kit, so... what happened there? Something happened very odd there. Some riders have gone one way and some have gone the other. Now, I'm a little bit confused. I know why, because there is a beach road and a non-beach road. Now, these two roads do join up. And I wasn't aware that you got the option when you were in the actual race to do this. You do when you ride the course, because I've ridden it. And what will happen, they got the advantage by going on the road closest to us of the gradient going down at the start, but the others get the effect of the gradient coming down just here where the roads come together. And you'll see it hasn't done too much damage. I mean, it is the same difference. But I was not aware, having ridden the course, that you could do that in the actual race. So that's interesting. It's interesting. I wonder how many of them previewed that and worked out that it was quicker to go down that route or something. Very interesting. What it has done is caused a great big fracture amongst the riders. And what we haven't got is a peloton at the front now. 4 riders getting away, and their names you might expect to see up the front. Dan Stimpson, Tim Humpton, of course, David Hawkins, and one more in there as well, I think. It's David Hawkins, Dan Stimpson, Tim Humpton, Nick Greenhouse, of course, with the black and orange helmet. So, one saddle drunk rider there, David Hawkins, and it's a couple more joining in there. But the gap now back to the others, 2 R3Rs in there, Rob Miller and Tim Humpton. So this little elite group now might form the finishing sprint. We're over halfway, 7.5 kilometres left to go. There's not much gradient to climb. There's 41 metres in the whole thing. And most of that. There's more in the first half than there is in the second. See 6 riders now forming a bit of a group. That's getting away, shall we say. Alex Gold in there as well. So will these 6 riders, so Alex Gold for Saddle Drunk, and look at the gap. They're going to have to work hard to pull this one together, aren't they? And just having a look now, it's Alex Plager, Jep Snaver, Steve Cooper, Rasmus Feldberg, Elwyn Sprenger, Evan Ostenson in there, Pete Mills, Top Jimmy. They're quite a way behind. Even Ostenson and Pete Mills, 18 seconds behind this group, which includes some big names like King Tubby, Rasmus Feldberg, Stevie Cooper, Owen Sprenger's second in the rankings at the moment, Jep Snaver, and so forth. Alex Gold in this group as well, chasing down the group ahead, who are now 11 seconds ahead. That's quite a big gap with 6.8k to go. 6 can work together quite well. And I think this might be where the winning selection comes from. Remember, 100 points for the winner, and 99 for second, 98 for third, and so on and so forth. And in the ladies' competition, the leading lady, wherever she finishes, so she might finish 25th or something, will get 100 points. And then you work backwards, the gaps between her and the next lady, you count down the places, and if the next lady was 5 places behind her, she'll get 95, and so on. So ladies only have to do 6 races. You can do all 10 in the series, but your 6 best races count. We will have a 6 of the best in the GC as well, and there's a GC for people who ride every race. You don't have to ride every race, but you probably won't win it if you don't, because somebody rides one more race than you. They could be sort of anything up to 100 points difference if they've won that extra race. So we won't go into the mathematics too much. Great views here. Thanks very much to ZMS for producing this live stream once again. Don't forget, look out for their wonderful Chase the Yellow, which is coming to Indy Velo. They're working very hard, and we're all learning a little bit at the moment. And as I say, very sorry about the rankings. It was inadvertent. We have been in touch with Indy Velo about it, and they're looking into this to make it so we can have rankings next time. So some of the work here on the production and the live stream, of course, we're all feeling our way a little bit on Indy Velo, and I'm sure by the time Chase the Yellow comes around in September, and it will be phenomenal, trust me. I think the production on the live streams will be absolutely second to none. And I'm pretty pleased with how far we've got in just our second race, really. So thanks very much to ZMS for doing that once again, and look out for Chase the Yellow on Indy Velo this September. We're running 10 races on the West London series as we watch Rob Miller again putting pressure on the front. I do worry sometimes whether Rob puts a little bit too much pressure on the front, and if he gets to a sprint, the other guys have the advantage. Tim Humpton, for example, is very much, he's a very strong rider and can probably pull away very, very fast at the end. And if you haven't got a lot left, you're not going to compete with that. Dan Stimson, the other R3R rider in this group. Tim Humpton's sitting in a little bit. Nick Greenhouse taking a turn on the front as well. Nick Greenhouse has got plenty of my trophies in his trophy cabinet from other platforms, and maybe there's more to come for Nick on Indy Velo. It's his first race tonight, as it happens, but Nick, as I say, has won series phenomenally as well, and exciting finishes to a lot of the races. So very much a cherished rider. Some big names in here. When you look at that, there's not a name in there that isn't really a little bit of a star in the world of VR racing. So this is quite an elite field we've got racing here, and we're very privileged to have them all on board. As we get into the last 4 kilometres, Rob Miller still pushing out on the front. I wonder if he'd be better sitting in and waiting and seeing what he can do at sprint, because I don't think he's going to pull away enough over 4 kilometres. It's 3.8 kilometres now, just being chased down by Alec Plaisir. 2 Ratio Racing riders in here. Now, Ratio Racing are a very coordinated team, as I'm sure R3R are, and they may well work together. That's Nick and Alex to make this happen. And isn't that interesting? Look at that. The front 4, Ratio and R3R, but they're pulled back. David Hawkins in there as well. So no, it's all sticking together. We have this little group. The winner is going to come from this group, I think. Now we're looking at 26 seconds back to Jep Snaver in the second group. Do remember though that the way the leagues run, because you get points for places rather than time gaps, you can finish a long way behind this group. But the 7th rider will only get 1 less point than the 6th rider in this group. So what this group is really about is trying to get those podium places and those extra points up the top there. 2 Ratio, 2 R3R, and there's some work going on. This is the second group. This is one Owen Springer in, who's currently second in the series. Rasmus Feldball, bit of a star there. He'll be disappointed to have missed out. Pete Mills, great rider. Top Jimmy's way behind. He's another 34 seconds behind this group. Sorry, I'm misreading that. Alex Gold in this group. Alex won 2 of the test races on here. Very strong rider, and kind of a little bit surprised he hasn't made that first group. But I think he knows that it's probably going to be some tough competition in some of these races. Wonderful chap though, proper gentleman and a sportsman, we have to say, as of course all the saddle drunk guys are. So this is Group 2. Group 2 of 6 as well. Everything's in half a dozen, isn't it? and getting closer and closer to the finish as we watch that first group. I think there's probably a little bit of nobody's really going to sort of put a big strong effort on the front now in the first group. I think the gap's big enough to hold off the second group, but it doesn't need stretching, and I don't think anybody's going to get dropped in the last 3 kilometres. So be interesting to see what happens. I don't know what's happening further back from the second group though. Maybe we can have a look at some of the other riders before we home in on the finish. So this of course is the front group still. Maybe we can't go back further. This is Group 3, I think, isn't it? And that's got Tony Martin Lake in it, Top Jimmy, Pete Mills, wonderful Pete Mills, Gordon Jackson, Carl Axel, Carl Axel Purcell, that's great, Tim. Ingmar van Beurs, who we haven't mentioned yet, but from the Netherlands. Carl Axel Persson, great to see you from Sweden, of course. Jeff Desmond as well. He's a little bit further back from this group, but some of the names in the group. Maybe we can go another group back and see who else we've got in. Clive Byam from OTR, I see, is in the race as well. So that's fantastic to see. Clive Byam there. Thomas Plumsky, Brett Smith and Lee Perry in there. So I've got my wish. I always love it when King Tubby and Lee Perry are in the same race. Lee Perry is from Burnley. I'm not sure where King Tubby is from. I do know, actually. I'm going to say New Zealand, but I'm probably wrong. But do like to have some reggae producers in here. Andy Walker in there. Good to see you back, Andy. Andy Evans in from Uxbridge. Lee Louis from the ladies' competition. And Jonesy AI from Wales, who's been posting quite a lot on the Indie Velo Facebook group this week. So good to have you along, old Jonesy, and hope you're enjoying yourself out there. We go back to the front group, and there's only 900 metres left, so let's see what happens. And it's Rob Miller on the front now. It's wrong, there are 6 riders in there, one been obscured. So 800 metres to go, and it's Rob Miller leading the pace. I've got a feeling, though, that this is going to be Tim Humpton's race. I think Rob is leading Tim out. Now, what will the Ratio guys do? Oh, Rob's pulling away a little bit. Tim not sitting on his wheel. So it's... sorry, it's Tim Humpton's in the brown. I do beg your pardon. That's Dan Stimson in the other R3R. And there goes Tim. There goes Tim. I thought he might do this. 400 metres to go. Alex Plaisir trying to chase him, but Tim just powering away. And it's... I don't know, it's not over. Well, you know... Oh, it's not over yet, is it? It's... Oh, dear, if they'd just gone a little bit earlier, they might have caught him. Oh, what a shame. David Hawkins, Nick Greenhouse, they were catching Tim. If they'd gone with him, I think they would have beaten him. Tim actually has extended his lead. Sorry for mixing up Tim and Dan Stimson in the jerseys. And look how close it was in the end. And you look at how Tim sprinted away. As I say, I think if the others had timed their start of their sprints that little bit earlier, they might have caught him. Looking at the next groups coming in now, and that is, I think that's, is that Rasmus Feldball coming in? Oh, yep, Snaver maybe, I'm not sure actually, sorry, I can't see. Erwin Springer maybe. We'll get the results shortly. They will come in when all the riders are finished. Looking at this group here, Biel Forsyth Prepper, I don't know. King Tubby, of course we know. Rasmus Feldball is way up the road anyway. Tony Martin in this group. Top Jimmy and Peter Mills. No, Peter Mills is not in that group. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong group. I think that might be Top Jimmy though. And Evan Oysterson. Somebody pulling away there up the front. And looking at that. That's Evan Oysterson pulling away up the front now and going for the win. Probably past the finishing line actually. Now there's the finishing line. And Evan now taking that clear, although getting chased down a little bit by BL Forsyth Prepper, who doesn't quite make it. Bad luck. And, oh, look at that one. That was quite close as well. Top Jimmy taking second. I think there was Tony Martin in there and Pete Mills. We'll confirm when the results come up. They are coming up. And sorry if I'm not seeing this quite as clearly as I usually do. And I'm getting used to new information and new graphics because we're on a new platform. So everything might not be as smooth as you used to. Look at this one, Gordon Jackson from Lancaster. Now, just coming home. He's got 450 odd metres to go. Just around this bend, as he gets around the bend, you should see the finishing line come into view. So we sweep round on these beaches. You can have all these beaches to yourself. Look at that. This is a place to go on holiday, isn't it? Mind you, if you want an ice cream, there's nowhere to go and buy one. We'll have to have a word with Indy Velo to put some ice cream kiosks on the beaches here. And actually, the start line didn't come into finish because he's still got to go around another bend. But there it is. You see it with about 100 metres to go, 130 metres to go. Gordon Jackson coming home. Carl Axel Persson, Xander Persson, will be the follow-up rider. So well done, Gordon. Great to see you here. Thanks again for coming along. Carl Axel now has raced plenty of our races before, and it's lovely to see him back. The Swede, he'll come round this headland and see the finishing line. I got it right this time. Fantastic. Well done, Carl. Jeff Desmond's only 7 seconds behind. Not going to catch. Interestingly, Jeff and Ingmar van Beurs and Brett Smith are very, very close. So we might have a good sprint coming up next. Like Byam in that little group as well. So let's see what's in the next group. Oh, and that's Jeff Desmond's pulled away and got that one. Here are the others. The other three spreading out a little bit. It's Ingmar van Beurs. He's getting away from... Oh, there's a fourth one coming up. It's quite exciting stuff, isn't it? As they go round there, round the headland, and I think they're all finished now, aren't they? So plenty to Thomas Poniteski in that as well. So I think we've got most of the riders back now. There's probably a couple more to come in, I'm guessing. Let's have a look and see what happens. This is the finishing line, so you can see the riders have stopped here. So right, so let's have a look at the lineup. It was Tim Humpton from David Hawkins, Nick Granhouse having to settle for third. Those are the podium positions. Dan Stimson, who I was mistaking in the jersey for Tim Humpton, was from R3R, and I should know better because he's got the R3R jersey. R3R had two riders in there, but had to settle for fourth and sixth, whilst the two Ratio Racing riders had to settle for third and fifth. Nick Greenhouse, Alex Plaisir, third and fifth. Dan Stimson and Rod Miller, fourth and sixth for R3R, which Tim Humpton did that sprint, same as last time. Nearly got caught this time. David Hawkins, Nick Greenhouse really putting on a show and making that quite exciting. Owen Springer's currently second in the series. Hasn't lost too much ground in seventh place. He pulled away at the end from Alex Gold. Stevie Cooper from Glasgow United taking ninth just behind the Saddle Drunk rider. Yep, Snaver, another R3R rider, and Evan Oysenson, they were 10th and 13th, with King Tubby, their club mate, at 12th. Famous rider Rasmus Feldball from Denmark taking 11th in there. This really is an all-star lineup. BL4 said Prepa, not one who I know, so a new rider to me, but obviously a bit of a star, 14th. Pete Mills, I know, 15th. Top Jimmy, fantastic, at 16th. Tony Martin Lake, 17th. Well done, Tony, in both races now. Gordon Jackson, Lancastrian star, taking 18th. Carl Axel, Xander Persson, 19th. Jeff Desmond, 20th. I presume we can probably go on and see the results after that, not sure. They will come up if we can. But more riders still to come in that. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the times they did here. This is the top 10. Tim Humpton, 21 minutes, 20 seconds. This is 16 kilometres, 10 miles. By any measure, that's quite good. It's not quite a time trial because you get the benefit of the draft, of course. The team there, Breakaway Bison, which I probably didn't mention, Nick Granhouse. I just realised what's happened. If you're not allocated to a team, I should have mentioned this during the commentary. So we're experimenting with the team thing, and I put two riders per team. And if you're not in a team, you get allocated to a made-up one. So Breakaway Bison is not a real team. Jumping Jaguars, Nick Greenhouse should really be in Ratio Racing, and I think between him and Alex, they need to sort that out and allocate Nick to Ratio Racing. But Breakaway Bison and Jumping Jaguars not real teams. Going back to the times, let's have a look at the times. Let's get this right. Zooming Zebras further down as well. So Tim Hampton, 21.26. Now, by time trial standards, that would be a very, very good time over 10 miles. Obviously, it's not quite a time trial, but nevertheless, very impressive too. David Hawkins coming in for Saddle Trunk, who've put up some great results throughout all our races. It's the fifth one, the second series one. only 0.3 of a second behind at the end. Nick Greenhouse only 0.4. Then a little bit of a gap back, 0.6 to Dan Stimson, and then all the way back to Alex Plazier at 1.4. Rob Miller, there was a gap there, but quite a big gap back to Owen Springs after that. So the first 6 sort of got away, didn't they? But then fragmented right at the last when Tim Humpton put in that great big sprint. Look how close it was between Alex Gold, Stevie Cooper and Jep Snever, though. 0.37 behind the finishing time of Tim Humpton. I don't know if we can look at the results outside the top 20 or not. If not, don't worry. Go to www.westlondoncycling.com. It's on your screen just to the side of me. I will have all the results up there shortly. Like I say, we are, like everybody else, new to Indy Velo. These are early days, and I'll be doing a lot of results checking before I actually put them on the website. So it might be a couple of hours or so, but I will get them up there when I'm happy that they are all correct. As I say, I love this. I think Indy Velo is great. I think it's only going to get better. We're all learning a little bit, as I say. There are little glitches like the ranking, which I apologise for. That will be sorted out, and lots of other things will too. The teams as well, the made-up teams thing, that will be gone for next time, I believe, and if not the next time, the time after that. Again, we're speaking with Indy Velo, and we have to say that Indy Velo have been absolutely marvellous with not only us, but other people involved in organising things on this platform. They are so receptive. If you sort of say, well, that doesn't quite work, could you do this? They will get on the case. I mean, obviously they can't fix everything straight away, but the speed at which they do is absolutely amazing. This is clearly one of the best platforms you're going to see, and there is so much more to come. It's improvements every week if you get the updates. Make sure you're signed up, and then you can wear your club's kit as well. How's that? Thank you very much to ZMS. We're really looking forward to this September when Chase the Yellow comes back. Meanwhile, we're here every single Monday for Monday Malarkey. The short races like that. There is a series. There are small trophies at the end, which we'll send out to you. So make sure you're here every Monday, 7:30 UK time. And thanks all the riders out today. And we did have some big names, so that was quite an impressive turnout. We look forward to next week. See you. Bye-bye.